What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Antwyone. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for another episode of What's in Your Studio. Hey man, we're gonna be talking about something called bold. I would dare to say it's kind of like um, some bold lighting or more theatrical lighting, using an octabox with a grid on top. Okay, we're gonna have an overhead lighting. It's a sitting position. I'll be your subject, and we're gonna be looking at options to create a narrative inside of the picture itself. We're going to talk about 2 points that I think is very relevant with this particular look versus another look that we did with Octabox earlier. All right. So up until then, man, let's get into it. All right. All right. So we are looking at two different screens here. Inside the screen, the lower level, you can see the Octabox is on top, going down, pointing downward. And you would see the table and the backdrop and everything else. Now, we had some shots that we did earlier, um, and I mean, I really liked them. So they did a really good job of making sure that that thing was there, the split lighting was there. But I tell you the truth, split lighting versus this one is it's gonna have a little bit of twist because of how the lighting itself and what we're using. We're using the same makeup, but I'm gonna show you what the light is doing as well. So let's go ahead and get over here. And again, I'm with Capture One, and on Capture One, I will be locked into my iPad as well, so I can see the pictures as they come up. If you have not used that feature, it's called Live on Capture One. If you're using it, so the oh shoot, messed up my light. The light is pretty close to me. We're there to say is basically where the stand is at, basically where my chair is at, and I'm almost kind of positioned in the middle of it in itself. And the look that I want you guys to see is a little bit more dramatic. So that means you're going to have to kind of talk to your subject to kind of tell them what the situation is about this shot. So since this is more of a dramatic shot and all the light is coming down and it's controlled, which is that's why we have the grid on it, what light is hitting your subject and what light is hitting the background and the table and all that stuff. So you're trying to position everything just right. So I have it slightly tilted, but it's still down so the light will flow across. I'm positioning myself right in the middle because it's more dramatic. I'm not trying to feather the light on me. Plus, I have darker clothing on and I have darker background and my skin complexion is darker. So if I had a lighter skin complexion, I could probably push the light a little bit further this way and it'll give me the same results. I'm just praying. If you look at all those little variables, and I'm not changing this to black and white, so it's going to be in color so you guys can see what's happening. So two things. If I go straight ahead, right away that everything, all the shadows are going to drop down. But I want you to pay attention to everything as it does that. Okay. All right. So this is the first shot. Looking at the first shot in itself, I know you can see it on the screen on there. Well, hopefully you can see it on the screen. Yeah, I can see that you can see it. Um, if you look at everything that's transitioning down, one of the things that you have the foreground light and the background light, and you have the beveling of that light going across as well. So you see the beveling of light is there as well, which is giving you that spotlight dramatic feel and look. That if you even if you crop it, up as high as you can, you still will have some bokeh, not bokeh, but some vignette around that. So that's one way to create a little bit of drama inside of your shot. The second one is I have a hair light that's coming down on me, and I have that backlight which is separating me from my left and my right side, because you can see the darker side of my face, and you have that light separation between where my ear is at and all over there as well. And also too, you can see that my hand in itself is lit more than where my face is lit. So we are going to be kind of working with that when and you have to identify that, especially when you're working with your client. So best way to do that, let's turn everything when there's nothing. I can just bring my thumb up here. I can tilt my head down and then back up and look at the camera. Okay. I got my ear towards the camera. I got my hand down. Sorry, close that out. And I'm positioning myself just a little bit further uh, into where the light is exposing me. This is like a fun shot, but it's like the drama shot that I'm looking at. So let's try another one where my hand is away from the light on this side here, and kind of I'm gonna look up to the light. Now my palm is gonna be lit if I do this, right? So I'm gonna turn my hand up there. So casually looking at every option that you possibly can when you're looking at creating different textures of lighting. As you can see, the texture of lighting from the background to my hand, where my other portion of my hand is, to where my face is, where the other portion of my face is, and that light transitioning back onto the backdrop. And it will, if you open that picture up, you will more likely say, is that one light coming across? Why is half his face is lit, the other half is not lit? Why is the background lit? Does he have a light on the back coming up? What's happening? And this is all done with one light. One of the other ways you can say is you want to follow the light is how you see the shadows. Okay, you can see the shadows underneath my nose, underneath my eyes, on my shirt, on my hands to the table. All that stuff you want to follow suit. That's how you can tell where the light is coming from. So I'm going to do a straight chin up look and straight up to the light. Okay, a little bit drama, a little bit more dramatic. As you can see there, again, you can see every placement of where light is hitting at, the subject of that lighting, how that lighting is progressing through the shot, and how does it make sense when you're using overhead lighting. Now, me personally, if I was doing when I do this look, I usually I use a smaller modifier so I can shape it a little bit differently. But what I love about this is that it spills all down my shirt and it gives me more information. So, and usually when you use smaller modifiers, that spill is a lot sharper, it's a lot denser in that. But also too, having a big modifier, again, that backdrop. Now I have this modifier fairly, I'm basically on the, um, if you split it in half, it's basically around the top of my head. And I'm going in and out from the light to kind of create my own drama from the light as well. So if I push a little bit of ways over here, it will be, the light can hit me a little bit differently, as if I was sitting, coming into the light and up. I can see the light will be a little bit different, a little bit brighter to me because it's canted down just a little bit where I can play around, as you guys can see there, I can play around with the lighting back and forth. So you don't have to kind of be so, you know, rigid when you're creating and looking at this type of lighting. Now, when would you use this type of lighting? Again, I love this when I'm telling stories. It's good for fashion, but you know, if you're talking about the clothes or makeup and things like that, you're talking about a little bit more drama into it. Yeah, this is a great dramatic look. Having an overhead light, paramount lighting, whatever they want to call it. Um, but when you do it, it draws you down into a subject, into being a subject matter. Now I have my V flat over here, my bounce curtain is on black, and you guys would know when I turn this to the other side, it's going to push more light back on me, and it'll be a totally different feel. And then you have to have a totally different look and totally different structure of lighting, even though even though you didn't change anything about this light or the camera settings, but this a bounce card putting more light back home is going to change the whole conversation. Now, if you're okay with your subject having those elements in this shot, this is a great way to use overhead lighting, very dramatic and very driven. Again, this is going across any section of light that you're thinking about. So in our next video, with our first video, we looked at how to light split lighting and 45. We just looked at it top, and now on our last lighting, I'm gonna show you how to use this as a wraparound lighting. Okay, I love using the Octabox's wraparound lighting when you use it with no grid on it. And then we're going to use the light to wrap all the way around myself so you guys can see what that looks like. And also too, if you want to use it a little bit more, I guess, dramatic, and that'll follow suit to me using my V flat in a different way and with the light so you guys can see what we call edge lighting as well. So stay tuned for those videos. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and working with the Octabox. We're going to give you amazing times to look at this light and how it works and how it feels on yourself, on your self portraits or portraits or with your subjects. Okay. Up until then, man, let's get back over here and review, and then we can close out. Ooh, man, mercy, mercy. That's a nice shot, though, huh? Look at that boy arms, looking strong, looking strong. All right. So how can we better make this work for you? I like this. I like this way this looks. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do an edit, quick edit on this for you guys. Um, we're gonna go image, and this is with uh, Adobe. Um, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and push that up. All right, awesome. So I want to quickly and easily, I'm gonna get rid of this guy here. I'm gonna get rid of this guy especially. I'm gonna get rid of that one. I'm gonna use one of my generative fills, and we're gonna get rid of him real quick. Bloop, all done. Remember back in the day how long they used to take? Good God Almighty. And back here, I just want you guys to see how this generative fill works. Again, this is not my normal place that I do my editing, but I just want you to see and get used to understanding generative fill. Generative fill. I don't put anything in there unless I want to replace it with something. I'm not gonna do that. But you could, if I want to add books on this table, if I want to add a trophy or something on this table. All right, so this little thing is in the way. So I'm saying, got it, I'm good. But I can see there's some craziness on the edge. So you got 2 or 3 of them. You see that? And you can kind of pick and choose what works. And that one's okay for me because that flow of light works with me as well. Isn't that cool? So, all right. And you can go over here and kind of take a look-see of what it before and after, and also too on my shirt, before and after, before and after. All right. So that's pretty cool. I had a little spot on my shirt. That's okay. All right. You can see the light that's in there as well. I'm okay with that. You can see the board that I'm okay with that. If you want to do a bigger generative fill, you can, but I'm not worried about that because I'm going to go ahead and crop it. Anyway, not that far. I'm gonna crop it anyway and give myself a frame that I like. I'm gonna go right there and give me a little bit more table inside the frame, and I'm gonna drop this guy just a tad bit. All right. Using my shots, I'm kind of like if I can just if I put my fist on top of my head, that's about enough space I want in between the top line and that one. So, all right, cool. And I think that's it. That's my crop. So first things first, and always, let's go to filter. You guys not used to this. I'm sorry, let me go flatten the layer. Make sure you flatten the layers, guys. Or merge or flatten, however you want to do it. There's stories on both, benefits of both. Camera raw filter. I'm looking up at the light, so I'm going to be a little bit more dramatic. So of course, I'm going to first look at black and white. Now, if you didn't know about this, if you go down into your on to camera raw filter, they should have, there it is. They should have some basic looks on, if you hit browse, and they have different black and whites you can choose while you're in this mode, which I felt was like very cool, and kind of important to know, for your visual, what you kind of visualizing. And they got pretty bad. They gotten pretty good at kind of um, you know thinking about the post work that I'm looking at. I'm kind of liking this one a little bit. I'm kind of liking a little darker one. And then you can change the amount as well, which I really, 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 really super love. Because back in the day, it didn't have all these options. So I want you guys to see that. And this is before and after look to it. You can look at it that way as well, the before and after. And I'm okay with that for right now. I get to go back over here and look at some things that I know I will want to change. And ultimately, it really is where how my light is looking. And I'm gonna do a linear because my hand, I don't like my hand being brighter than the top of my face. So that I will go down to where the shadows are at for that one. And I'll just scoot this up into where I felt that made sense. That was good right there. Push that back down. All right, and then I can do another one. This is all about the table. So I'm gonna change the exposure down a little bit. Make it a little more contrasty. Not too contrasty. Let's go back on curves and take the highlights down. There you go, it's better. All right, so I'm good with that. Again, before and after, you have right there. So I already have kind of like a light happening behind me, so I'm not gonna mess with that. But what I am gonna mess with, I'm gonna do one more mask. I'm gonna use not a linear mask, sorry. One more mask, I'm gonna use a brush. And I'm just gonna brush caps lock. So if you guys don't see that, I'm just gonna brush on my face, on the face portion of the picture, and I'm gonna look at the midtones because it's just escape. The midtones lighting is escaping from there um, as well. And I'm gonna just do a couple more, and I'm going to do a little bit on the shirt, just a little bit in pockets that I want to mess with. All right. I'll bring the shadows a little deeper into those pockets. All right, so even it up. I feel good about this. I'm okay with this, but I'm always like, man, if I don't do it, for me to see what it looks like, I'm always gonna have a problem. So I'm just gonna do my quick um, mask here. I'm gonna do a reverse on this radio mask, and I'm going to do just one kiss of highlights compression, okay? Just a kiss. Okay. Then hit okay. I kind of like the way that looks. That's looking. It's user friendly. It making sense to me. It's a little bit. This one is still a little bit open to me, so I'm gonna hit it one more time. Sorry, usually I could see that, but I'm gonna hit one more mask. Hit a linear mask, and I'm coming from this side. I just feel for myself it makes sense. To you, you may have some problems with it, but I want it to be a little bit darker because I want to kind of close that off a little bit. Change that right there. All right, and hit OK. Again, before and after gives me a look see, kind of closes that area down for me a little bit. So I like that better. So now I have this gradient of light that's there, this look that I didn't have before. This is very dramatic look. And all you have to do to get it back to capture one is hit file and save. And you go back to capture one and it'll be right there in your groupings over here, as is set on your picture that you use. So, okay. And there it is. All right. You bring that up. And some of the cool things I still can do from here without even breaking a sweat. Just some, if I want to get some blemishes off, if I want to mess with the dark circles, I can even my skin up just a little bit. Add a little more texture to my skin if I want to, take a little more texture away from it, and I can contour my skin a little bit more, take a little bit more off. So there's a lot of little different things I can do, and then just as if you see before and after, let's see, just in the face alone, just soften it up just a little bit. Some of the things that really above lighting does for you. Okay, all right, it does to you. All right. So this has been your lesson today on looking at having a Octabox controlling the light and the light spill. Because look at this image. This is one light, and it's dressed up as at least two and a half lights. You have your backdrop light, you have your foreground light, you have your light that's concentrating on your face. You have all that happening all at one shot. And if you're looking at a shot, if you're thinking about a shot and how you want to feel that shot progression, you can look at how to look at one light in a different way. You can always say, man, there's a series of lighting structures that I can do that I don't need two and three lights. Now, I can tell you right now, I can take a small beauty dish, I can take a backlight to get the same shot, right? Backlight will shoot all the way up in the background, give me that bevel that I have. I can do it, all that stuff. Or you can do it with one light. Now, there's so many other things that if you use this, I would naturally not use this as a beauty, beauty look. Not in that it can be a beauty image, but it's going to be more dramatic. It's going to be more focused. So just be mindful of how you're using it. And I have prime examples of using this light as light structure, especially inside the studio. Now, I would love for this to be this is my go-to light structure when I'm having people with muscles, because you can just tell just all the lines in my face. And if you can see you will see all the muscle structure inside the body as well. So there's many different ways to do that. So thank you guys again for joining me for this episode. My name's Antwyone, and I appreciate you guys for joining me. But other than that, man, keep shining and grinding. And I'll see you guys on the other side. I'm out, baby. Come on, baby.